the big shots of Bollywood industry together on a stage talking about the industry and how the business is working. I'm always interested in these kind of videos to get know more about it. And that's why today I'm checking out Adar Poonawalla, Karan Johar and Siddharth Roy Kapur's discussion about it. The interview, they were at the Leaders Summit. I'll put the link to the original video in the description below. You can check it out there. This is the reaction. It's not a substitute to that original video. I'll be pausing and talking, sharing my thoughts. By the way, the channel membership is live. If you want to support the channel, you can become a member. Enjoy such reactions early and some member-only videos such as song reactions. To know more, click on the join button. And without any delay, let's check it out.
Very good evening, everyone. It's great to be here. Hi, Karan, and hi, Adar. It was less than a month ago
They are actually now partners, if I'm not wrong. 50-50 partners. Dharma sold it to them 50% and business deals.
that the Indian media and entertainment industry woke up to the news, pretty sensational news, that Dharma and Adar Poonawalla were coming together to do a 50-50 joint venture, and that Dharma Productions would now be a partnership between Karan and Adar. This news was greeted with a tremendous amount of excitement, I think, in the Indian media and entertainment community, because as we know, a lot of consolidation has happened on the studios and the platform side, but we haven't really seen that much activity on the content creation side with regard to outside investment coming in to the industry. It's been a traditionally closed industry as far as outside investment is concerned.
Okay.
So Karan and Adar, I'm sure you're sick of the memes that have been circulated, but I can't help but say, Adar, I hope you're not going to be changing Covishield to a K, and Karan, I hope Brahmastra Zeneca is not going to be the name of your sequel to Brahmastra.
No, but I'm definitely changing the company to Pharma Productions now.
That's a good one.
Which is the other
I mean,
meme.
that's a great
And the
idea.
other
Yeah, he's from a pharma, right? He's from the vaccine company who made the vaccine Covishield. So yeah.
one was Kabhi Khushi Kabhi Serum.
That's perfect. Now, this is CNBC, so unfortunately, I'm not going to be able to do any more of those puns. I need to be all serious and business-like. But since it is Karan Johar, I have to ask him what he was manifesting when he decided that Dharma Productions would now move into this new generation of raising capital. Because, as we know, films has been his passion.
That's interesting also, right? Like film companies are not looked at, or film studios are not looked at like a startup or, like a company who could, like, you wants investments and investors on board. And I think that's again, the Hollywood kind of a thing where WB's become a corporation where they have investors and, they have a public company, you can buy their stocks and all of that. So I think we are also in a slowly, the big giants. That's what I think it's not Yash, sorry. Yashra Studios didn't do. They made their own company, but Dharma has done. So I think we're slowly gonna move in that direction where corporates and more people, businessmen, are gonna come and invest in Bollywood and film studios.
His father's passion, and Dharma Productions has been a passion project for all these years. So what were your personal and your business considerations? It'll be great to get a sense of both, because that'll give us a sense of where the media and entertainment industry is headed as well.
Thank you, Sid. Firstly, thank you so much for moderating this session. I couldn't have asked for someone better to do this. Thank you so much on behalf of both Adar and I. I have to say that contrary to what people might know of or feel of Dharma Productions, actually it's a rather nascent company where it comes to multiple productions and building it in a studio model. We actually began our journey when you were very much part of the family with UTV at that time, with multiple productions that we started with Wake Up Sid and I Hate Love Stories and a film called Kurban, and I signed my first deal, so to say, with Ronnie Screwvala. So the Parsi community has been very kind to me. And subsequently, we built Dharma Productions right up to 2023. So in a sense, our journey of producing multiple films and content has been 15 years old. Prior to that, it was just films that I directed, that my father had curated over the years, which were very few films, really. And there came a point of time where I felt that we needed, for our own growth, we needed the investment. We needed to kind of not partner with everyone and increase our profitability. And therein came the decision.
So yeah, so if you see a lot of films have multiple, producers attached because they want to have this revenue sharing model where all of them are putting some money and all of them are taking some money. but the head is, of course, one of them is the head. Like it's a Dharma film, but there are multiple producers. It's some other film, there are multiple producers. So I think that's why they're like, okay, why give a revenue to all of those? Like, get more investment, produce our own films totally 100% and get all the revenue we can.
To sell stake and build in a partnership with somebody. At that point, we did all the due diligence, we did all the work, and the idea was to kind of create further verticals at Dharma Productions. Besides, we have Dharma, we have Dharmatic, we have an ad division at Dharma 2.0. But the whole idea to build our own distribution network, perhaps, or maybe dabble in the music arena and many other verticals, is something that I
That's the
dreamt
PVR
of,
guy.
but I needed the partnership for that. And in many ways, when Adar, who's been a dear family friend for many years, spoke to me and we decided to come together on this, I felt it was the best decision for us, because it was the coming together of somebody, like-minded people, and also someone who possibly would allow me my creative vision and yet contribute so strongly to the growth by giving me his terrific business insight. So I thought it was a great marriage of two minds, and it really wasn't a big decision for us, because when it came to partnering with Adar, it was just easy. It was like both Apurva and I, who built the company together, both knew that he was the best possible partnership for Dharma Productions and for where we want to take it.
No, thanks. That gives a great sense of what the consideration
He's good at talking. Like, if you make him talk, he's gonna talk the best.
were when you were looking at doing this. And Adar, I'd love to ask you, from saving our lives over the last decade, what is it that led you to believe that this was something that you wanted to get involved in? Because of course you've known Karan for many years, but one never really thought of you as being someone who had a great amount of interest in the media and entertainment business. So it'll be great to get your perspective on how you see the business and how you see this partnership as you go forward.
Thank you, Sid. I was kind of as shocked as everyone else was for making this move.
Okay.
Let me just share some of my thoughts of why I went ahead very quickly to do this. We've all been influenced by movies and films and shows from whenever, as far back as we can remember. But when this opportunity of partnering with an iconic brand and an iconic person like Karan, his ability to tell stories, to influence and change people's minds, making iconic films, putting out content like this, it is a soft power. There's no doubt or question about it. Now, how a corporate group could use that soft power to project and tell stories about what they are passionate about, or how it can help with our businesses, is yet to be seen, and that's something we're strategizing over. But since this is such a serious news channel and we talk about IRR and all these kind of things, questions were asked, why did I pay so much? What was the basis of this valuation? And I didn't reply to any of those questions, because how does one quantify, IRRs and the typical ways of EBITDA margins, and what's the clear line of sight to growth, and all these very serious financial questions one asks when you make any investment. These were the intangibles that I saw partnering with Dharma and with Karan. And of course, it's not such a bad business opportunity as well. There's other verticals like music, distribution, building up more production on our content creation. These are things that will drive, the next 5 to 7 years of growth at Dharma. And these were some of the reasons, and I did it. And let's not forget, it's not such a bad idea to have a little bit of fun also. It's not all about just, making money and getting returns. So these were the reasons.
Very good not producer, but the businessman they got, who just doesn't want to run after money, and is okay to sit back, relax, just try something new, experiment in a way. In a sense, as a businessman, experiment and see where it takes and what new can you do.
And thinking behind why I decided to partner with Karan.
Yeah, no, I mean, you said, I guess people were asking you why you paid so much money. Karan might say it wasn't
Too
so
little.
much money.
Yeah.
I didn't know I had a value. I found out. You know, I have to say this, and I probably am not going to come across very clever when I do, but you know, it's just the way I want to come across is who I am. I was traumatized in so many of those meetings. You know, when we spoke, there were things and terms that were, I'm a creative artist. What is a put and what is a call and what is an exit?
A drag and a tag. I never thought we'd hear the words coming out of his mouth. And drag and tag.
And then he kept saying, you know, I will drag and you will tag, and I was like, I know what drag is in a totally different way, and I know what tag is from a price tag that I pay in the retail zone for. I know what put is and call is in a very different way altogether, but I had no idea what was happening when those Excel sheets would come in front of me, and you know, your reality is staring at you and you think that you've done something so wide and vast, and then there is a value put. So when people tell Adar, you know, like, you've paid so much money, I'm like, has he really?
I said that deliberately to give you a chance to say exactly that.
Because I feel like, firstly, I have to tell you, the dynamism.
I think for artists, it's very hard to put price on their work. Like, you have no idea what to say, and it could be sometimes delusional. It could be at most times, you know, self-doubt. Like, you don't believe in yourself most of the times. That's what I have seen with a lot of people, myself, you know. And then there are some where just they think they can ask anything they want, and there's confidence, and there's, you know, too much confidence also. But yeah, there's no right, you know, amount.
Displayed by Adar Poonawalla was almost inspirational to me and to everyone on. We cracked the major part of this deal on a Zoom call, I want to tell you, and he was like a superstar in that. Like, it was literally, he had a few questions which were answered, and then he was like, okay, so when do we sign? And I'm like, for 1.5 years, we're deliberating, we're talking about put and call and exit and entry and everything that you can think of. And then, like, he comes in, sweeping us off our collective feet, and I'm like, this is probably how I would have loved to do business if I could afford to. And I can't afford to, of course. He can. But I just thought it was also the most essential thing is, I'm here today feeling even more accountable and responsible than I ever was. Prior to this, I was like running my own ship, right?
Maybe that's why in the interviews, the other interview, he said that I'm not gonna pay the actors whatever they want and all. Maybe he has seen the, you know, what do you call it? Sheets, all the, what do you call it? Receipts? No. No, I don't know what the term is, but he has seen all the numbers, and now he knows what to do and what not to do.
Purva and I were two people. We ran our company like siblings. He took care of finance, admin, legal, everything, all the stress points, and I did the creativity. Today, I'm talking about profit margins, profitability, reducing costs. How do we show to Adar how immensely profitable we're going to make this conglomerate? And to me, that is giving me the most exciting sleepless nights. I never thought that I would feel this accountable in my life, and this is great accountability. This is what I think my father tried to make me, and Apurva's tried to make me for the last 25 years of my life. Adar Poonawalla has done it in 3 months.
I'm so happy you said that, Karan. Thank you. I hope this is recorded and kept in the archives forever.
Well, unfortunately, it is recorded. Everything I say today, I'm staring at Ajay Bijli, a big reason why we're here today. And I want to say the prices are really great at all multiplexes. The popcorn is cheap.
Now the current security investment
I'm
is finding
so
the
scared
popcorn
I'll
cheap.
get into trouble. I'm just staring at Ajay Bijli and I'm like, the Bijli, everything in those cinema halls is cheap. Go watch movies, guys. We need you. We need your footfalls.
What would you say, Adar, to those who might be looking at this industry and have all these myths surrounding it that sort of keep them away from investing in it? Because, as you know, it's been an industry which...
It's in a way like a kind of a way to promote that more people come and investors come and invest in media industry. You know, a lot of goes into, you know, news channels. Like big billionaires are buying news channels and news sites because, you know why. But even like in media and, you know, films and TV and all of those, like, of course Netflix is a platform, service platform, so that's something else itself. But as a creative people, studios working on it, like, this could be a platform where they think, okay, he did it, how he did it, why he did it, okay, we can also think about it.
a lot of people have circled around, but we've never had this kind of a structured investment from someone from outside the business who's come in. You've had a lot of strategics coming in, of course, the studios from the West. You've had the Netflixes and the Amazons and, hopefully the Apple TVs, etc., who are also looking at it. But on the content side, I believe there's tremendous potential in taking the sector forward, being able to hold on to IP, being able to monetize that in the way it should be. But what's held it back really has been the lack of capital and the myths that surround the industry that have just lingered on for this long. So it'll be great to hear from you on what you'd say to people who might be looking at this business.
No, so I think a lot of other corporate houses or funds and investors perhaps haven't traditionally invested in this area is because generally an investor wants a clear line of sight on growth, scaling up, profitability, etc. We all know this industry has its ups and downs, with films doing well, some doing badly, some may go over budget. Now, if we can manage that risk,
We know all that.
keep growing in terms of scale of creating more and more content, you've got so many OTT platforms and now some others coming about. I'm very bullish in this area. Now, when exactly is it that we're going to hit, big profit numbers or whatever? It's tough to say. So you have to have a little bit of passion and patience in this area. It can't be like what you've seen in e-commerce or in other manufacturing sectors. There's always going to be some kind of gestation period. So we're going to go through that over the next 5 years. And, if we have this conversation in 2 or 3 years' time, I can tell you if some of those myths were true or not.
Okay.
Fair enough. It's up to us as an industry to dispel
He kind of didn't say, oh, it's all false and nothing like that. So, kind of an honest answer.
those. So Karan, as far as you're concerned, this obviously is a big move forward. Do you see yourself becoming a studio now completely and holding on to the IP that you're creating and therefore being able to monetize that and building value for the long term?
Absolutely, and the idea, of course, so the good thing is that, we have, the IP has been a huge part of, our valuation as well, built over, a large period of time with all the films that we've done. We've held very strongly onto our IP for everything that we've done. The real issue sometimes were because of the funding that you had to always partner with an existing studio on the bigger and larger films. And with that, even when we made big hits, we were always sharing the profit. In this scenario, it gives us the opportunity of actually increasing and enhancing our profitability by owning the film entirely. But yet, there will be those massive brahmastras that we will make that will need the support of a studio. If I make a film that is over 250 crores, 200, 300 crores, it's not possible to fund that totally at our stage even now. But yet, it's the middle budget film where the cost to profit is super high. Those are the films that you can actually fund entirely on your own, and you can enjoy and reap the benefits of that big breakthrough profit that is to happen. Because I believe the real bread and butter, the real money comes from that middle budget film. Because in the big budget films, while you might make that money up, and it's a large journey to cover that money, and then, the cost of capital, and then the cost of P&A, the margins are not very large. But when you strike it in a 65 to 80 crore window film, and you really hit the large number, that is the film I'm chasing. So more than the tentpole.
Again, numbers. You don't chase like, okay, I'll make this much and I want this film to do. Like, that's never gonna work like that. I don't know why. There's still a discussion about this. That's never gonna work. Movie, like, you cannot segment films like this and expect them to do these numbers. Like, it. Why don't you make your big budget films less with less budget? Why it cannot that happen? Like, why don't you make your 300 crore film to be cost just 100 crores, and then it makes 500 crores, and that's a profit for you? Why you are saying that no, 80 90 should make 400 crores for me? Like everything cannot be 3-2.
Film, I'm chasing the middle budget film that gives me a larger return.
Because they're the revenue multipliers that much more when
everybody
when it's
thinks
a hit.
bigger the film, bigger the money made. It's not always true. Because bigger the money spent is also the bigger, larger journey to recovery, so that's what we do. And then the verticals, that we are in the near future going to make some announcements about verticals that we're going to begin, and we do hope that everyone eventually wakes up to the fact that we now truly mean business.
Okay.
So would you do the same thing on the streaming side as well? When you're making series, etc., would you adopt the same model? Maybe the larger tentpole ones are ones that you don't necessarily need to fund yourself, but the middle ones you might look at actually going in and investing?
No, so I don't believe in that model. I believe a series should be greenlit by a platform. And then you should go ahead and make it. Because there are, we've seen those content creating houses that have put in a lot of investments, created tremendous creative equity, and by making series, but many of those lie unsold. And eventually, you need to kind of make sure that your series that you're putting all that might on, the money on, gets a platform in a house. So very clear that in Dharmatic Entertainment, we want to widen the scope of our work for sure, but we want to make sure that it's attached to a platform.
So unless like Amazon, Netflix is on board and they are funding it, or the show is gonna go on their platform, don't make a show. Don't make up a show with your money and then go and sell it to platforms. That's what he's saying should not happen. And I understand that. Like, I think then if you go with Netflix and they own the show, like, you don't own it. I think that's the case. Even Siddharth Roy Kapur makes a lot of shows, so let's see what he has to say, if he adds anything
before we start putting any money into it.
Got it. Also, would there be some projects that you look at from an international perspective which is taking India to the world? Because I think Korea in the last couple of decades has really shown us with their movies, with their music, with their TV, with their food, the soft power that they've managed to really take around the world. And
I've been doing K-dramas before they did.
That is true.
So
nice one.
I'm quite used to it. So literally. No, absolutely. And I think a few of our projects, definitely. For example, we had a breakthrough film called Kill that released last year that was picked up by Lionsgate internationally. A large international sale happened thanks to our presence at the Toronto International Film Festival, where we struck that deal. Subsequently, the film is now being remade in English and also in Tamil and Telugu, and we sold those rights. So we do plan to...
Someone said Raghava Lawrence is doing that, so I don't know how that's like South film will do, but yeah, the original was really good.
Produce the second part of Kill also, and we hope to have the same international success. Similarly, we are producing a film also, and we hope to have. We do plan to produce the second part of Kill also, and we hope to have the same international success. Similarly, we are producing a film with Neeraj Ghewan, who is a Cannes award-winning filmmaker, and we've planned to take that film, to the international festivals and have sales internationally. Few of those decisions we are definitely going to make, but few, Sid, because I don't understand this concept of planning a crossover film. Because I do believe once you cross, it's all over. Because, it's really not always going to be viable and beneficial. So I don't think you can plan a film for an audience.
Yeah,
a film has to acquire.
It is something that happens organically.
Today, for example, I'm not sure, when Lagan was made, or Lapata Ladies, both attached to Amer, where he planned those films for him. He made great films. The fact that it's going to win an international audience and the love of an international audience has to be a thing that happens post the film's release. So I don't think you can plan or strategize an internationally loved film made out of India.
What do you think are the other ways in which the media and entertainment industry can maybe look at the way that other industries have scaled up to be able to drive us to our next level of growth? Do you see any things that we can do as an industry to be able to really have that exponential growth that maybe the IT sector saw in the 80s and 90s, or any other industries that have had that step up?
I think the government has been quite helpful wherever needed, and we can have conversations with them to see how we can promote and penetrate the rural parts of the country a little bit more. And if you can get more screens there and ways of getting into people's homes in villages and other areas, there's talk about having those cinemas, which are not exactly big screen cinemas like you see in the urban areas, but more penetration will definitely help scaling up and becoming more profitable. Also, the kind of films that one likes to watch may not, or what we call good films, may not necessarily do so well at the box office as we know. So, when you're looking at it from a business perspective, if anyone else is also investing, one needs to keep making those kind of films and also the kind of ones which are iconic. For example, Karan has made from Kabhi Khushi Kabhi Gum, Kuch Kuch Hota Hai, all those iconic ones which are remembered, and then you have a library that's built up like we do, which one can monetize later in the future as well.
Okay.
What do you think is the state of the theatrical business right now, Karan, and where do you think it's going to go? I mean, we do talk a lot about phases within this business, and you have your ups and your downs. We're probably in a cycle right now, which we've never really been in before, where the bigger films are doing bigger business than they've ever done before, and films that might not have done this business before COVID are going through the roof. And then there are some films that come and go, even with very big stars. So it's clear that the audience seems to be becoming very discerning about that trip to the theaters. What do you think we need to do as a content industry to be able to...
I believe we have to read
Theaters.
the room. We've got to read the room as filmmakers. You have to know that today there's a lot of content available on streaming services, but there is still a huge desire for a community watch, to go to the cinema. So you have to understand, please let's make the high concept films, the films that draw you to cinema halls immediately, not the films that you have access to, on a daily basis on a streamer. So besides the tentpole films, it's the high concept films or the films made sensibly, because the star cast really today is not just the only driving force. It's the trailer. It's the very first impression. So I always tell filmmakers, this may sound like a sales pitch, but plan your trailer. If a film is giving you a great theatrical trailer, it's going to give you a great theatrical opening. Anything generic is going to slip through. Anything been there, done that is not going to work. So you have to plan your first unit. It has to be a unit that makes sure that an audience is going to say, I booked my ticket, I'm going to go see. And that is happening. As we speak, we've had a great 2 years. According to me, there have been some thunderous numbers as well, like you said. We've touched the 600 crores. We've never done that before. We've done that. And we also have touched 100 crores with a completely new cast. A creature film with a new actor called Abhay Verma has done 100 crores. That is the power of theatrical audiences. We just have to give them what they truly want. We have to read the room, which we have to start assessing within ourselves.
Well, I'm being told my time is up, but I do want to give you guys, both a chance to maybe tell us what your vision is for Dharma 5 years down the line. Like, what would you believe you'd be really happy if Dharma were to accomplish within 5 years?
Good trailer will give a great box office opening. I like Maidan trailer a lot. What are the trailers? Pushpa trailer looks good. But it's anyway gonna make a lot of money. Chava trailer was really good. Like, trailer is not out, teaser was good. So let's see what the trailer is. And the clash with Pushpa. So let's see how that works out. Trailer, like, I think one that comes to mind is Animal. The Animal trailer is like, or the teasers, like, everything was so like, oh my god, what is this? Like, crazy. It just gives you a vibe of the film without giving you what's really happening. It totally like shocks you. What is this? I want to see this. So I think that's what he's talking about majorly. But it's not just the trailer edit or how cool you can make it. It should be just I just Kangua's images came in my mind the first 30 minutes.
I think I'll leave that to Karan because he's the man with the vision and the creative sense behind it. So, Karan.
I'm a filmmaker. When you ask a creative artist what my vision is, it's of course to creatively conquer, and that's all I can really aspire to do, to make beautiful, brilliant stories. Scale is not the only, thing in operation. I want to tell the biggest stories, but I also want to expand the infrastructure of our company. I want to build verticals which go beyond what we already have, which I had the vision for, but couldn't do it earlier, and now I can. And I want to make those verticals immensely profitable in the long haul. So the vision 5 years later, if you and I chat 5 years later, I hope I can tell you that this partnership of Dharma Productions has been an immense success story, and we'll be here again to tell you that.
Thank you, Karan, and thanks, Adar. I just want to say on behalf of the entire Indian media and entertainment creative community that this was an incredibly inspirational announcement that happened, within the last month. And I think it's led to a lot of people thinking that the creative industry, the content creation business, if we're able to capitalize and we're able to bring the right funding, the right partners, the right growth into the business, then I think the next decade could genuinely be India's decade.
And I do
at the
believe
global
what Adar
entertainment
has
sector.
done, I hope, does become, something that others as well follow through, because it would be wonderful for that fresh burst of oxygen in our business coming in from outside of the business, because I do believe, and I hope that this is one of many other further collaborations. Even if
It was
Adar
a
has to
promo
go
for more business.
forward and do it again, I'll be proud that he began with me.
Cheers to that. And, hopefully at CNBC's 30th anniversary, we'll be discussing a lot more examples like this. Thank you, everyone.
I don't know how many of us still watching. If you're watching, comment business. But yeah, it's not something everyone would like to enjoy or understand. But I find it very fascinating. And I think when you talk about films, this is also a part you should be involved with and understand. Not the how much movies, money making, and all of that. Not just talking about the money, but the industry and how it works, the business aspect of it, how those decisions actually even like indicate how the creative decisions will be taken logistically or however you may. But that's true, right? Like the bigger films today are working. We've talked about before, audiences want their money to be worth it, and the bigger experience and the bigger films that really give you a experience, those are the films that really working, and people are investing in. So, and even for them it was kind of because of something new has happened with Bollywood, with the media industry, and outside businessman coming as an investor in a big media company, and the 50 percentage, I think it was valuation was 1,000 crores. That means he paid 500 crores for 50%. So that's huge, and that's what this thing was about. And if more of this happens, this again makes the Bollywood more corporate structure. But I think if the right people are at the right position handling creatives, if let's see Karan Johar, like 5 years later when they do this again, we'll be a judge of it, what they did, what kind of stories they told. As he said, scale is not everything, but we have to wait and see the kind of actors he's working with. Like Kill is an example of it, that he did work with newcomers or even outsiders, not just industry people, but you have to walk the talk. So that's yet to be seen, but let's see what happens. Something different, something interesting. I hope you enjoyed it, and if you did, do like, share, subscribe. Check out this video next, and I will see you next time. Let me know your thoughts in the comments.